There comes a time in the life of a woman where she must make a divine decision, a decision to stop explaining herself, not out of arrogance, not out of pride, but out of revelation. When you understand your purpose, you stop trying to convince people who were never assigned to your destiny. Purpose is not a community project, it is a divine assignment. And the more you try to explain a vision that was whispered to your spirit, the more you dilute the power of what God has spoken in secret. Some of you are tired, not because you're weak, but because you've been wasting energy trying to justify what God already approved. You're busy writing chapters for people who were never meant to read the book of your life. Listen, lions don't explain their roar. Eagles don't justify their altitude. And daughters of the king don't lower their voice to be understood by the crowd. Silence is not weakness. It is wisdom wrapped in strength. It is the confidence of knowing that your steps are ordered, even when no one claps for them. You see, the enemy thrives in distraction. And one of the enemy's greatest weapons is to lure you into unnecessary conversations, to keep you entangled in opinions, debates, and explanations. But powerful women have learned the art of divine focus. They don't answer every question. They don't respond to every accusation. They don't stop their chariots for barking dogs. God is not raising up women who seek applause. He is raising up women who seek alignment. When you are aligned with heaven, earth will eventually recognize your authority. You don't have to fight for recognition. Your fruit will testify. Your excellence will speak. Your transformation will echo louder than your words ever could. It's time to move differently, walk with the dignity of destiny, stand with the posture of purpose. Not everyone can hear what heaven told you in the midnight hour. So stop expecting validation from those who never stayed up to hear God's voice. Silence is not empty. It is full of revelation. When God was creating the universe, he didn't ask anyone for permission. And when he called you, he didn't call a committee. So stop letting public opinion manage your private calling. You are not here to fit in. You are here to break patterns, to shift atmospheres, to challenge systems. That's why your presence is misunderstood. But don't explain it. Walk in it, own it, carry it, move in silence, and let heaven make the announcement. You were not born to explain. You were born to express the image of God in your generation. And when God breathes on a woman with vision, there is no force on earth that can stop her, not because she speaks loudly, but because she walks divinely. Divine purpose is something deeply personal and profoundly powerful. It originates not from human opinions or societal expectations, but from a higher calling, an assignment given by God himself. When a woman is walking in her divine purpose, she understands that the validation she truly needs does not come from the applause or approval of people around her. Public approval is fleeting and often unpredictable. It changes like the wind, influenced by emotions, misunderstandings, or envy. But divine purpose stands firm regardless of external acknowledgement because it is anchored in something far greater than human opinion. Many people fall into the trap of seeking validation from others to feel secure about their path. But this is a mistake that can derail even the most gifted and anointed. When you rely on public approval, you give others the power to dictate your confidence, your direction, and ultimately your destiny. The problem with this is that people often do not see the full picture. They cannot understand the struggles you face, the prayers you have prayed, or the vision God has placed inside you. Their approval is based on what they see on the surface, limited by their own experiences and perspectives. Divine purpose is not about being liked or accepted by everyone. It is about fulfilling a unique role that only you can play in the grand design of life. It demands courage to continue when the crowd is silent or even critical. It requires faith to keep moving forward when the majority doubts your potential. This purpose compels you to stand firm, even if you stand alone. It invites you to live authentically and unapologetically, trusting that God's endorsement is enough. Understanding this truth sets a woman free from the burden of trying to explain herself or justify her choices constantly. She no longer waits for permission from the world to shine. Instead, she moves forward with confidence because she knows her value is not determined by the voices around her, but by the divine voice that called her into existence. Power is not something you proclaim loudly or seek to broadcast with empty words. It is something that is revealed through consistent action, character, and results. True power is silent but undeniable. It does not need fanfare or public declarations because its presence is felt by the impact it creates. A powerful woman does not spend her energy explaining what she intends to do or convincing others of her worth. Instead, she focuses on building, growing, and moving forward, allowing her influence to become visible in due time. When power is announced, it often comes with vulnerability because words alone cannot sustain authority or respect. Anyone can claim power, but only those who consistently demonstrate it through integrity, perseverance, and results truly possess it. The world is full of loud voices trying to assert dominance, but most of those voices fade quickly because they lack the foundation of substance. Power that is revealed through action stands the test of time. It commands respect without demanding it. This is why many powerful women choose to move in silence. They understand that their strength is not in how much they say, but in what they accomplish. They do not feel the need to justify their presence or explain their decisions at every turn. Instead, they let their work, their wisdom, and their achievements speak on their behalf. This kind of power inspires others without intimidation and attracts opportunities without chasing them. Power revealed also carries an element of mystery, creating a space where others watch in awe, wondering how such calm and composed strength can produce such profound results. It is a power rooted in purpose, disciplined in execution, and humble in its expression. It is a power that builds quietly but moves mountains, not by noise but by influence and impact. Destiny is not a democracy where the majority votes to decide your path. It is a divine appointment, a calling that is uniquely yours and not subject to the opinions, approval, or acceptance of the crowd. Many people mistakenly believe that their future should be shaped by consensus or popular agreement, but true destiny is established by God's design and revealed through personal revelation. It does not wait for public opinion or societal trends to move forward. It moves according to purpose and divine timing. When you understand that destiny is not a democracy, you realize that you do not need permission to pursue what God has placed in your heart. You are not required to explain your vision to everyone or seek validation from every voice around you. This truth frees you from the pressure to conform or dilute your calling just to appease others. Destiny is not about majority rule. It is about obedience to a higher authority. It demands faith and courage to stand firm, especially when those around you do not understand or support your journey. Too often people try to negotiate with their purpose, hoping to gain acceptance by compromising or explaining themselves endlessly. But destiny does not negotiate. It compels you to walk in alignment with what God has revealed, regardless of how many people cheer or jeer. This is why the path of destiny can sometimes feel lonely, because it is a narrow road meant only for those who are willing to listen to the quiet voice of God rather than the loud opinions of the crowd. You must be willing to stand alone if necessary, trusting that your future is not determined by popular vote but by divine will. When you grasp this, you no longer live to please people, but to fulfill purpose. Destiny belongs to the obedient, not the majority. Silence is not emptiness or weakness. It is a deliberate strategy used by the wise. It is the art of restraint, a powerful tool that reflects strength, self-control, and deep understanding. In a world that values constant noise, loud opinions, and immediate reactions, choosing silence becomes an act of wisdom. It allows you to preserve your energy, maintain focus, and protect your vision from unnecessary distractions. The wise understand that not every situation requires a response or every challenge demands an explanation. Sometimes silence communicates more than words ever could. It shows maturity and confidence, signaling that you are not easily provoked or distracted by the opinions or criticisms of others. When you move in silence, you refuse to engage in meaningless arguments or defend yourself to those who do not have your best interests at heart. Instead, you conserve your power for the moments that truly matter. Silence also creates space for reflection and discernment. It allows you to listen, not just to others, but to your own intuition and the leading of God. In that quiet, clarity emerges, and you are better able to make decisions that align with your purpose rather than reacting impulsively out of emotion or pressure. The wise know that words spoken in haste can cause regret, but silence grants the time to weigh options carefully and respond with grace and precision. Moreover, silence serves as a shield against negativity and gossip. When you choose to say less, you limit the ammunition others can use against you. You maintain your dignity and protect your reputation by not engaging in unnecessary explanations or justifications. This strategic silence builds an aura of mystery and respect, compelling others to pay attention when you do choose to speak. In essence, silence is a weapon of the wise, a way to control your environment, preserve your peace, and walk confidently in your divine assignment without being derailed by the noise of the world. Not everyone deserves access to your life, your thoughts, or your purpose. Access is a privilege, not a right, and it must be granted with discernment and wisdom. A powerful woman understands that sharing everything with everyone dilutes her energy and exposes her to unnecessary risks. There are those who will seek to use your information against you, who will misinterpret your intentions, or who simply are not aligned with the vision God has placed in your heart. Therefore, guarding your circle and being intentional about who you allow close is essential to preserving your peace and protecting your destiny. When you give access indiscriminately, you invite confusion, doubt, and interference. Not all voices deserve to be heard in your decision-making process. Some opinions come from ignorance, envy, or fear, and entertaining them can derail your progress. The wise woman recognizes that the level of intimacy and trust she shares should correspond to the spiritual alignment and integrity of those around her. She does not feel obligated to explain her every move or share her every thought. Instead, she protects the sacredness of her journey by limiting her vulnerability to those who are genuinely invested in her growth and success. Access also means allowing others into your emotional and mental space. Not everyone deserves to carry your burdens or influence your mindset. When you selectively open your heart and your plans to trusted confidants, you create a safe environment where wisdom, encouragement, and accountability flourish. This intentionality creates a strong foundation for progress because it shields you from negativity, distraction, and betrayal. A powerful woman moves with confidence, knowing that her circle is not large but purposeful. She understands that her energy is valuable, and by controlling access, she maintains clarity, focus, and strength to fulfill her calling without unnecessary interference. This discernment is a mark of maturity and sovereignty over her life. Your actions and results are the most powerful testimony you can offer to the world. When you focus on cultivating excellence, integrity, and purpose in everything you do, your fruit becomes the undeniable proof of your character and calling. Words can be doubted, promises can be broken, but consistent fruit, visible evidence of growth, impact, and success cannot be denied. A powerful woman understands that what she produces in her life speaks louder than any explanation or defense she might offer. Fruit is the natural outcome of sowing seeds of discipline, perseverance, and faith. When you invest your time and energy into fulfilling your purpose, the results become a living testimony that attracts respect and admiration. This is why so much effort spent trying to explain or justify oneself often falls short, because explanations are temporary. But fruit is lasting. Your achievements, your influence, your transformation in relationships and communities become the proof that you are walking in alignment with your divine assignment. People may question your motives or misunderstand your journey, but they cannot deny what they see. When your life produces goodness, wisdom, and impact, it silences critics without you having to speak a word. Fruit reveals the process you have endured, the battles fought, the patience exercised, and the character developed. It shows that your success is not by chance, but by consistent, purposeful effort. Furthermore, letting your fruit speak for you preserves your dignity and peace. Instead of getting caught up in unnecessary arguments or trying to convince doubters, you focus on your work and allow the natural results to tell your story. This approach not only builds credibility, but also inspires others to seek their own purpose and trust in the process of growth. Ultimately, your fruit becomes a legacy, something that outlives fleeting opinions and carries eternal significance. Heaven is always observing how you respond to the noise and distractions of this world. The trials, criticisms, and chaos that surround you on earth are not invisible to the divine realm. In fact, how you handle these earthly disturbances reveals your maturity, your faith, and your readiness for greater assignments. When you face opposition or confusion with calmness and trust in God's timing, you demonstrate a level of spiritual strength that does not go unnoticed. Heaven is not impressed by loud complaints or desperate explanations. It honors those who remain steadfast, composed, and faithful amidst the turmoil. Every distraction, every challenge, and every negative word thrown your way is an opportunity to show God your character. Do you respond with bitterness and frustration, or do you maintain peace and focus? Do you allow the noise of man to shake your confidence, or do you anchor yourself in the promises of God? Your response reveals where your heart truly is. God watches not just your successes, but how you walk through the storms. He knows that those who can keep their peace in the midst of confusion are being prepared for greater responsibilities. Earthly noise often tries to pull you off course by stirring doubt, fear, or anger. But when you refuse to engage in the distraction and instead choose to move in silence and purpose, you demonstrate that your trust is not in man, but in the divine. This trust is a testimony of your spiritual maturity. Heaven values those who understand that not every battle is theirs to fight aloud, and that sometimes the most powerful move is to remain silent and let God work. Ultimately, how you handle earthly noise is a reflection of your identity and your relationship with God. It is a testament to your readiness to receive greater grace, favor, and anointing for the work you were created to do. When you stop explaining yourself and choose to move in silence, you step into a realm of true power and purpose. Remember, your value is not measured by the approval of others, but by the faithfulness to your divine assignment. Let your actions, your fruit, and your integrity speak louder than any words ever could. Guard your heart, protect your vision, and trust that heaven is watching, ready to elevate you beyond the noise. The time has come to walk boldly in your destiny with quiet confidence, knowing that true greatness is revealed not in announcements, but in the silent, unstoppable movement of a woman who knows her worth and refuses to be shaken.